The Jukes are over 100 and some people. I think there's been 120 Jukes now. There's a guy in England who has a family tree, and it shows all the people who have been in the Jukes, and all these different people. When we started the band, Steve Van Zandt is much more control-oriented than I am, and I'm a lot more, wild and spontaneous on stage, which is what it needs. I mean, you need both of those aspects. You can't just have chaos. So we kind of he would direct traffic in the studio, and I would direct traffic on the stage, and just let things kind of happen. And that was kind of the ethos that came out of those two different minds, two different personalities. And it's been like that since. And you don't join this band unless you've got a lot of stamina and you're willing to take chances. It's just not a job. It is a musical entity. You're supposed to make music. You're supposed to create music on stage, and that's what we try to do. What we do is we usually rehearse in the studio, because John Bon Jovi loans me his studio, and so we get it for free, so we can afford to do that. Thanks, John. And we'll go in there, and I'll show them the song, or I'll have a demo made, just me and my keyboard player, or Bobby, my guitar player, will make a demo of just guitar and let them flesh it out. And I'll have ideas about what I want to hear, but in the fleshing out of the song in the studio, other people will contribute ideas too. How about this? How about that? So that free form kind of thing slowly coalesces into an arrangement. And then I have to be the arbiter who says, I like this, I don't like that. I can be talked into stuff, and I can be talked out of stuff, but eventually it has to come down to, is it working or not? And I have to be the judge of that, right or wrong. I mean, I've certainly made plenty of mistakes in the studio. So we let people, I don't dictate parts, but I'll edit parts. In other words, somebody will come up with something to play in a song, and I'll go, I like that part, but I don't like that part. And, they'll fiddle around until they get something I like. And there's a certain pride that goes into that, which makes them play more from the heart, as opposed to... The hard thing for me in the studio is a lot of these guys are so proud of what they do that they try to make it perfect. And I gotta loosen them up. I gotta say, I don't want you to play the same thing every verse. You're a musician, stretch out. And some guys you can get to do that fairly easily, others you can't. And you just kind of live with it. As soon as they learn the song, 4 takes would be the maximum, I would think. If it's not gelling, if by the 4th take it doesn't sound right, forget it, we'll come back to it, It doesn't take us more than a couple of weeks to make a record from start to finish. I'm not talking about the rehearsal aspects of it. If we do rehearse it, which we don't want. But once you start, it either is working or it isn't. And if it's not working, you stop and go to something else. One of the things with Barry Beckett, when we made the Down to Muscle Shoals to make the one record, we did the songs over and over and over and over again until he felt we got the groove. And he was right in an aspect that at that point, the rhythm section wasn't as solid as it is now. But I didn't like it because I thought that was a better take, even though it might have sped up towards the end or whatever. I don't care about that stuff that much. That stuff is not the important thing. The important thing is the feel of the track. And then I sing, whatever way we do it. I don't want perfection. I want expression, like I said. And the interesting thing is you hear a lot of the 60s and early 70s soul music, and you think, wow, what a great production. But you know that it was like 2 takes.
Yeah.
And it was an afternoon, and then whatever horns they added or strings, if it was one of those real lush things, that came later. But the basic vocal and band performance was right then, right there. All the Motown stuff, right then, right there. They got it, they knew when they got it, and they moved on. And that's the thing you got to do. You can beat a song to death in the studio, and it just doesn't work.